Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to the swapper. Let's continue. So, we're about to enter, I think it was the research department, and we now have another person that seems to be a lot nicer and less antagonistic to our character. And I'm suspecting it's just a clone of the same person we were talking to other. And honestly, I suspect that the character we're playing as is also a clone. This is interesting. We're floating. And because I'm floating, I don't have any momentum. So, I guess you once again have this situation where you would maybe just project yourself and swap yourself. That being said, I'm holding the left trigger and it doesn't seem like I can make any people. So, okay. I guess we'll just use our swapper gun as a way of gaining momentum in zero gravity. Let's see what happens when we bump into the light. It's spinning around. It kind of gives more of a top-down feel, I would say, than anything else. That it feels more like the character is lying on their side and we're just looking at a room from a top-down camera perspective. Well, this does introduce a new gameplay mechanic, although I really question how many puzzles you could make around this. If anything, this is the programmers playing around with the idea of giving a lot of physics to a lot of objects in zero gravity and just seeing how their programming ranks and stands up to the idea of a lot of physics. Another mind so long, all alone, going round and round, round and round. So, another floating watcher rock. I have wondered if the rocks are just clones that somehow get turned into rocks, or the minds get trapped into the rocks somehow. If anything, this feels like this is going to be done once or twice throughout the game, though, and that's going to be it. Because, very noticeably, in that room, there was not much going on. No puzzle or anything like that. We need 15 encryption orbs to get to the next area, and we have 13 because we collected everything in the previous areas, but I could definitely have seen a lot of players not do that, and I could see that the game probably wants even me to go back and open up this console blocked area. I suspect that's exactly what's going to happen. Is this is going to cycle back this way. Yep. We have electricity. And we're back to this, swapping bodies left and right.
The truth is, we're all in danger. Come meet me at Mine Sci and I'll explain. You'll have to gain access to the high security labs first.
Yeah, before, the previous character we saw was like the previous character we saw them, we heard them talking to people, and you were just hearing static. So either this is a different character and that this is a different character that we're talking to now, or this is the same character and they were on the static. I guess it's possible that there's yet another copy or clone. Here you have a big projector room, which I don't know if this means much of anything. It seems like you've got a projection of a small little spherical thing and a giant spherical thing. And nothing really stops you from going here. Last time we saw a teleporter, we didn't use it, so let's use it. I guess the teleporters are selectable. So you can choose to go in different places, which that is what I expected was going to be the case, although maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's more of a case of you can only go specific places. Interesting. Let's do that. And then we'll go through here. We are creating a scenario where you see puzzles that are platformers and you see puzzles that are definitely closer to I can make a copy of me here and I can swap here, but I can't in the blue light make a copy, but I probably could swap back. Okay. But you only have so much jump ability. That guy's just gonna fall to his death. So it kind of seems like the only thing you could do is this. You could certainly do this, but putting a character over on the other side of the light seems like that would be pointless. Can put a person over there and just wait a minute. Is this simpler than it seems? No, the red light is blocking the swapper stuff. Although, is it really? Because if I did this and then walked over here and then walked back this way and shot a swapper thing, no, you still are hitting the red light. All of these puzzles would be super easy if you just could have the main characters or the clones collect things. Seems like you have to get the angle fairly perfect here. Probably just have to shoot higher. Okay. So that's one. And I can't go any further to the right. I could put something here. If there was, like, it's gonna be crazy difficult to do this, but if you say did that quickly, no, I don't think you can do it quick enough. All right. If I got a character there, I wonder if you could get the angle just right to potentially put a character here and then do that. And then see if you could get the angle just perfectly to skim along that. No, it doesn't seem like it. It would be weird if there really was a cheat like that. It would feel pretty unfair to a lot of players. The angles on all of this is just fairly wonky. I guess there's a real danger here of these let's see, can I swap to this guy now? Guess I can, and we'll just do that. We'll swap, and then we'll use the light to destroy enough. We need to move a little bit further back, and I'm barely have a place where I can do this. And then we need to go a little bit further back and hope we can just inch it. Didn't work. There we go. So, recursive solution there.
When we first discovered them on Kori, we thought the Watchers were dumb slabs of rock. It took years of study to accept that they were alive. Not like we are, of course. They have no physical senses.
Oops. So,
when we first discovered them on Kori, we thought
let's listen to what they have to say
dumb slabs
first.
of rock. It took years of study to accept that they were alive. Not like we are, of course. They have no physical senses, no moving parts. Still, I find it hard not to wonder, can an electrical impulse in a rock really be considered a thought?
So, years they're saying this has been going on. Which, that's definitely not... Oh, both survived. Interesting. Not really what I was expecting. I was expecting that this would have been the very beginning of interacting with these rocks and these Watchers. And this would all be new and mysterious, and at most it would have been weeks or months, not potentially years. Let's look at the map. Planet Core I-5 overview, class desert uninhabitable, abundant natural mineral deposits, space station Theseus in orbit since 201 years. Since 201 years? What does even a year mean when you're going to different planets in different space solar systems? We'd have to have like a astronomical unit or measurement of time or something like that, unless they're just saying year as in an Earth year. Notable discoveries include a more durable steel amalgam. Would amalgams be naturally occurring in an alien life form similar to an Earth silkworm? Primary research in recent years has been focused on what have come to be known as the Watchers, highly complex rocks formations of unknown origin. Analysis of samples on board Theseus have revealed unusual electrochemical activity within the structures, which may suggest something resembling rudimentary intelligence. Now, if it was just rudimentary intelligence that people couldn't hear, then why can I hear the rocks? Am I part rock somehow? Okay, we'll start right where this light is. I think the game is trying to help me somewhat by pointing towards places. That you should shoot. Although getting these angles right seems like it's going to be difficult to say the least. Yeah, it kind of seems like I would need to get fairly far outside of this red light, which maybe makes an argument to take another step back. I don't think you're going to get all the way up to that platform though, so your best bet is just that. And then maybe again you just have some recursiveness and regain some bodies, which may not be a problem really. I don't know if I fully agree with the just incredible tightness that it feels like you're having to engage with. Darn it. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing here, though. Anyways. Like, I see the solution as far as this, as far as this. But can I not make any more clones? I guess I can't. So, gain a new body that way. If anything, gain a couple of bodies, and now I have just like 3 bodies. So as long as I don't land on the platform or fall off this platform, I'm fine. I guess what I really struggled with there was the fact that I'm not really learning and memorizing what the blue light does specifically. It almost feels like there should be a log here, like the very first log should just be a tutorial thing that says blue light equals no beams while inside the blue light, and red light means no swapper beams through it. But you can seemingly do both clone shots and swapper shots through the blue light. And so they do slightly different things. It's also weird that all of the clones just disappeared. It seems like there's maybe a slight inconsistency there, where you get to encryption orb and then the clones disappear when they really shouldn't. Yeah. So we want to go through this door just to see that it probably is a transition back to where we've already been. There was a time long ago when the chain was full and fruitful, then the minds like yours joined and the rest fell silent. Interesting. So humans potentially joined with this mental collective, almost like the Borg in Star Trek, and they seemingly poisoned other minds. Yeah. You can't form anything in there during that. Doesn't this, though, just feel like the solution would be something as simple as that? No, not quite, because you've got this red spot. So I wonder if the solution isn't actually just this. Yep, you just had to stand directly in the red light. Now I'm shocked though that this doesn't connect back to there, which means then there is just a elevator tunnel here that is going to go back to that area. We have 22 orbs and there's really nothing else you could do, so we have to move the story forward. It weirdly seems like the rocks and the Watchers don't mind being broken apart and moved, which, you know, for a new life form, it would be very believable that they might be more fragile than that. As a slow assembly of a bunch of doors.
The only access to Mindside now is via gravity control. From where you are, you should be able to access an airlock. You're going to have to take a spacewalk across the station exterior.
Mindside. I wouldn't be surprised if this is all happening in the mind of the main player. What is thought? I think I know. It must have rules. We not see the Numina. I don't even know what that word really means. but we surely know they are the cause of the thoughts. Umina. Now there is a big danger here that we're going to delve into a narrative, at least from the Watchers, that is just too much of a deep thinking, like what is the nature of existence type philosophy talk, which video games rarely have done well when they delve into the realm of philosophy. If anything, a video game is probably best when it has maybe one philosophical idea and they spend 60 hours trying to put across or explore that one idea instead of multiple philosophy ideas or a very complex collection of philosophical ideas. The Talos Principle is kind of good at doing the philosophy stuff, but I really wouldn't name too many other games. Bioshock, maybe on some levels, particularly Bioshock Infinite, there might be a thought there, but even in that, the big reveal and twist at the end of Bioshock Infinite, which was highly praised as kind of being a deep thought philosophy concept, really was very surface level and did not actually answer or propose an answer or even really delve deep into it. Some of us have grown crazy. Everything there is thought. Moving on. And I just question whether you really needed these maps. I guess they're just there to try to force players and make a strong suggestion that you bring up the map. If you couldn't have brought up the map on your own accord, then I could see why the maps would be helpful there. But as soon as you have the optimization to just press a button to bring up the map at any point, it's kind of redundant to have real-world maps. It would make more sense if this was like a Metroid game where you were going to a map station and then that was downloading the outline and like half of the information that you might see on a map and pointing you into a specific direction, particularly in like Metroid Prime. I think there were points where you just wouldn't even know where you're going until you found a map station, so it was part of the linear progress path that you had to go to a map station to get that information. Let's see, log 10, emergency evac 2. Apparently there was a emergency evac 1, but it's not in the logs. This morning, the last senior crew member disengaged the lockdown on the high security labs and relocated us all here. The labs are well shielded and the doors are sealed tight. Everyone's hoping we're not being followed here by whatever it is that's killing us, Sam Cook. So something is killing them. Well, that's weird because we're not seeing anybody really at all. When we interact with this teleporter, we can now go here and here, which is weird because I could have sworn there was a teleporter here, and maybe I just didn't interact with it, but then I didn't interact with this one and it let me do that. And I feel like I may have seen a teleporter somewhere around there too. Well, I guess none of it really seems to matter that much. Let's, I guess, go here. To the airlock. No, we don't want to do the airlock first. So we'll go to Xeno research. That would give us information maybe about the rocks.
This is where we developed the device in your hands. We looked at the way the Watchers communicate and built a delivery system for it. To be frank with you, we didn't know what on earth it was at first. It turns out it swaps people's souls about.
Souls. And once you say the word soul, that's a pretty loaded term. Oops, I didn't mean to walk backwards, but you know what? We will just do that. Another teleporter. Here you have a swinging, like, robot arm. The question of what a soul is definitely gets into the idea of a philosophical question. So for my preference, I would just say you're swapping consciousness. It definitely seems like the clones you make are totally mindless and under your control. Although, at a certain point, if you made an exact clone with the exact same brain patterns, wouldn't they very possibly do the same thing anyways? But I would argue no, because that is ignoring the outward stimuli of what you can hear, what you can see, what you can feel. So if I was a clone of myself and I was standing on a ledge, I'd see that I was standing on a ledge and I wouldn't walk over it, whereas the other clone of myself that was nowhere near a ledge would walk towards the left. So yeah, seems like they are very mindless characters, these clones, and there's no real explanation on how the device was created, and the cloning technology is just as sci-fi as the mind swapping ability. Swapper research interest. Discovering what the swapper did was easy. Our new research priority is to work out how. I believe it is oh man, as soon as I mispronounce it once. Synthesizing some part of the Watcher's telepathic communication. Somehow it is able to relocate raw consciousness while leaving the physical bodies intact. To understand the device and perhaps consciousness itself, we must understand the Watchers. Dr. Chalmers. That was terrible. Read. I suppose there probably is a percentage of people who don't like reading in games because they recognize that they aren't the best readers in the first place. Okay. I can't swap through this red shot, correct? So do that. Start with. Do that. Put a version there. Okay. Am I supposed to possibly put one here and do that? And then can I, from that spot, swap into that guy? Yes, I can. There we go. I guess the real question that would have sucked theirs if I had fallen to my death. This is very Metroid-like, in these little boxes just floating in the air, so you can fall without having to teleport yourself a bunch. But you can't move these boxes, and you can barely jump over the smallest versions of them. So yeah, the red portals don't go through there. Oh, I hit the light. Okay. So, probably want to do one there. And then you can hit this point in this ledge, it helps you. Ah, okay. I see. I see how this works. There are two lights, and basically no way you would have known that unless you'd played around a little bit. Okay. I want to make a copy here that's as close as possible, because what we're going to have to do is swap back and forth, killing a lot of people. There really is just no way you're getting through this game. Oops. Yep. There's basically no way you're getting through this game without killing hundreds of your clones. Often there is this knee-jerk concept of prioritizing intelligent life over less intelligent life. And since it's practically impossible to quantify life in any way, it does seem like that's as good of a way to measure things as anything else, but inherently it's not the best system, in my opinion. And it is just going to allow people to make the decisions like this game is having our main character make, which is to kill just an infinite amount of beings, clones, in favor of achieving just a goal, not even like a guaranteed continued existence, just a basic goal of getting one more encryption orb.
The problem has always been No matter how far you dig down into the human brain, you'll never identify something that is consciousness. But the Swapper has taught us that the mind is some fundamental part of the universe which is not physical, and which we can now control.
Yeah, I suppose you run into a technology like this, and then you are effectively saying that there is some kind of higher dimension or some almost completely disconnected soul that is just using and loosely attached to a body. How long has it been like this and not like the Great Chain before? Let's see. Once again, the camera wants to move all around. There's one more orb here, and then let's go back up to this point. We don't even know how many orbs we need. We didn't hit that level. Kind of obviously the game wants us to see this. And now these lights are being depicted as devices, where in the past the lights have really just been they really felt more like they were just big clouds of light. Right. Everybody walks this way, and then that closes that. What if I was to do something like this? Thought there might be an achievement around that, but no such luck. Okay. If the square was in the way, yeah, do we even really need to block the blue? Do that. Do that. If we're trying to slow down time. The real question here, I think, is we've got to block this so that we can swap that. Yeah, I'm making this way more complicated than it needs to be. All I really needed to do was that, and then, well, what's the next step here? Maybe that. If you're standing in the red, that's weird. multiples of them can't be crushed, whereas one could be crushed. So let's think that again. 1, 2. Two is still too few. One, 2, 3. Leaves you exactly one character. And 3 is too few. Maybe that was a glitch, or maybe there was a cube under it. Right. So I'm just, the camera zoomed in kind of a bad angle here. Okay. See, that doesn't even... doesn't even fully stop it if we do it that way. That definitely doesn't feel like that's a better solution. And he's not... the body alone is not going to block this. Still very questionable why the swappers stay around, but the bodies and the suits disappear. Okay. Two, three. Crushes all of those. And what does that do for me? If I was to move like that. Perhaps I'm trapped in a line of thinking that is wrong. You just don't have much of a jump ever. And I'm not going to be able to put like a human body in there. Would there be any value in putting a bulb up that way? Yeah, everything says you have to do this much first. Then you can do this much. It makes that red light happen first, and then it's a very slow period to get rid of the red light. So, and I imagine when you reverse that and you step off, yes, it's a red light at the bottom that opens first. So if I could get one here, when you're at like this point here, and do that, and then push this all the way this way, then you run into the problem with that, then you run into a problem with this. And then you can't get to the blue, on top of which you need to do that first. So that it feels like there should be a tiny area where you could make a clone. But I just don't know where that tiny area would be. Almost seems like you would have to be back in that area. It can't be anywhere in the blue area. Do something like this. Definitely doesn't seem like there's an angle to be done. what would really benefit us is if there was another cube. But there really isn't even enough room for another cube. What if we actually need to do something closer to this? I guess the question is just how far could we shoot something like this? And then I guess put ourselves in that position. Possibly be in this position. I bet it is something close to like making a clone and then walking yourself forward. Yeah, I definitely think this is a solution. I'm not sure I fully understand this, but I think if we just keep doing this, we'll hit a certain point. Okay. It feels like what you would need is a gun or some way to delete clones, though. Because this is where it's going to run poorly, is that you're going to you're going to step forward, and then this guy is going to move downward and die. Now I'm in the red light, so no beam would work there. So then you walk back this way, and you have that. Would it have benefited me any to potentially get the box here if I could have even done that? I don't think so. We have to be careful not to just wastefully make clones. Would there have been a way to possibly have a blue character standing in the blue light. And then maybe that would allow for something different. Yeah, I just don't think I understand this. Like, so I guess this is the first one we'll just have to give up on because, yeah, this has me confused. It does definitely have a feeling like I mean, I don't think it's a simple angle thing. Is there possibly a case here where you're supposed to make purple light, blue and red, and I'm just not visually seeing that as an option? Can I do anything special in purple light? Doesn't seem like it. But what I did do in this case is I was able to grab this and walk backwards. Which I guess that's something. Again, though, it doesn't seem like there's any purple light trick to that. So is there possibly some manipulation that's supposed to go on here like this? And you turn around, grab this, and start pulling it back this way now. I don't know why that would solve the problem any further than anything else. The only thing that it would make sense is if we somehow had figured out a way to jam it with just bodies. That might make some sense. it was like 1, 2, 3, then you do this, and then that jams it instead of crushes the people. But you get up to this point, and you can really only walk to the right. Which means that's probably out of order. And a later step. You can't do the swapper light there. You could do the swapper light here. But then how would you get something to stop standing on the platform? That's the problem. Like, at any point you could spawn something here and then like swap to this. I don't know if there's really a reason to do that. And I'm really lost here. Go ahead and block that. Put that at that point. Maybe you're supposed to just walk this point and then, you know, very quickly release a body and hop into it. Like, can you, like, very slowly get to that point? Or, like, maybe this really is just timing. Alright, well, for the first time, I'm going to give up on this room. It's very possible that there's going to be more rooms that I struggle with. And as such, it's probably isn't guaranteed to be the only time that this happens. Very possibly they've put the teleporter right next to that room to highlight the difficulty there. We've gone long. Yep. The game may very well have one final door at the end of the game where you have to have all the orbs. And so we may learn something in some other puzzles very quickly and find the solution here. Or I may just have to look up the solution. Looking at the map, we actually got a decent number of rooms considering the amount of space. It's a little bit tighter packed in compared to some of these other sections where, particularly in here, you have a lot of empty space, and there does definitely seem like there's room for potentially having secret rooms if that is what is going to be revealed. That being said, when we get into these upper areas, it looks like there's probably 2 other sections in this space station, with there being fairly small sections, possibly on different space stations or on the planet. Log-wise, we have gotten to the point where we are scrolling down, and the only achievement we've done is this message from home number 3, so there may only be 3 of those in the entire game. And yeah, I guess we've gotten a new thought in some ways to manipulate the things we've already seen, but we really haven't seen a new item that would change things. Whereas I imagine just being able to have like one more swapper body, why we're limited to 5 is a question, certainly. But one more swapper body could probably make a lot of puzzles easier. We are all puzzles all the time in this game, outside of the narrative overview. It probably wouldn't have been terrible if you found a secondary gameplay mechanic that would have spiced that up a little bit more, whether it was something like a hacking mini game or just an occasional enemy to shoot or attack. Obviously something is killing all the people in the spaceship, but we don't know what it is and we haven't seen it, and we really haven't seen anything particularly spooky or scary, just a lot of darkness. And yeah, that is a problem with a lot of games, is that they tend to be way too dark for their own good. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below. There's also links to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and get my game off my wish list to support me even further. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.